Welcome to Beyond Your Why podcast, coaching edition, where we delve into the world of elite coaching and consulting. This podcast showcases leading coaches who've harnessed the power of their why to shatter boundaries and achieve extraordinary success. In each episode, we feature a coaching powerhouse who will share their unique journey, breakthroughs, insights, and transformative impact of living their purpose. And I'm super excited today because we have a great guest, Loretta Stagnitto. Loretta, you're an executive leadership coach. Your company is Loretta Stagnitto Leadership Associates. And you specialize in mentoring executives on self-awareness, perception, and leadership, drawing from your experience in PR, corporate communications, IR, and marketing during Silicon Valley's tech boom. And you've had some great experience, as I can tell.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Loretta. It's lovely to have you here today.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
All right, we're going to dive right in. Can you give us a snapshot of what your coaching practice is and what major outcomes you help your clients get?
So Loretta Stagnitto Leadership focuses on leadership development, executive development, and team development, as well as mental health and wellness in the workplace as well. And the outcomes are really high touch approaches to understanding yourself, understanding your leadership style, making sure it maps to how others perceive you, and then really creating the best practices and approaches and visions and way to really lead individuals and high-performing teams.
That sounds so beneficial in today's workforce for what you provide. Who is best served by your coaching services?
In particular, and where I'm really moving in and honing in, is a group of individuals that I call the frontline leaders. They are director level, senior director level, just really leaders of leaders, depending on how your organization is outlined. And these are the folks that they're the ones that when the initiatives and when the goals come down, they're the ones that are, responsible for getting everyone to get them implemented and manage folks and meet goals. And so their days are filled with too much work, emotional, ups and downs from the business environment, dealing with difficult situations, not understanding why they didn't get a role and someone else did. And so they spend a lot of time in all of those aspects of trying to lead and manage, in addition to trying to get the work done.
Right.
And that, particularly in today's business world, a lot of companies don't spend a lot of time on development, particularly at that level. And so I found a real opportunity, having coached before in peer groups and working with these types of individuals. They value the experience. They value the one-on-ones, the opportunities to learn from their peers, learn from a coach. And they've never really had that opportunity to what I like to call slow down to go fast, to step back, to understand, what am I doing? What am I experiencing? How can I do it better? What are the perceptions of others? What skills do I need to develop? And then literally put it in a plan, a plan that says, this is the support I need. If I do this, this is where I'll get. This is what I aspire to. That's the other thing. A lot of folks don't quite know what they aspire to. I want to go up the corporate ladder.
Right. Why? But why? Yeah.
Exactly. So that's a group, particularly, I feel like when we're trying to do way too much with way less, budgets are thin, and this is a group of people that are feeling all of the pressure and really could use the support. So I really thought this is a great opportunity to bring an approach to coaching to them that gives them what traditional high touch coaching does, but doesn't take up the time, is not the, the high expenses it is, and yet brings all the benefits and the value that you get as when you are coached as, by an executive coach.
It is so easy to see how passionate you are about that and how committed you are to serving that group. And so I'm quite certain that people who come into your coaching program experience you absolutely, come and go through their career and go through their life differently after working with you. I can hear that in the way that you talk about it. It's amazing. So we talked about, before the interview, we talked about your why operating system, and your simple YOS is you believe success happens by contributing to the success of others. How you do that is by finding a better way and sharing that. And then ultimately what people can count on you for is a trusting relationship, trusting solutions. When we say that out loud, Loretta, how does that feel for you?
It absolutely resonates into everything that I have when I think about the different stages of my life and, the roles I played in high school and college and in my career. When you put it in that framework, it's absolutely what drives me and the way I do it and the benefit that I get from it and the benefit that I give to others from it. So absolutely resonates.
Awesome. How is this showing up in your coaching practice now? So how does this shine through for you in your coaching practice now?
Lots of different ways. I mean, clearly, I have a great deal of empathy, and I tend to really, live in other people's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that there's a difference between empathy and compassion. Empathy says, I want to live in your shoes. Compassion says, I live in your shoes and I want to do something and help you.
Yeah.
So I've always been driven by both of those. And so the empathy says, boy, I can see that, there's something here that can help you. The compassion is, I can do that with you. And so what I do is listen here and then put processes in place. This, try this assessment, do 360 feedback, come back and say, this is what we're hearing and these are the gaps. So what are we going to do about that? Let's put processes together. And then, and then the reward, if you will, is when I see that they've taken advantage of the process, they're getting the rewards from it, and they trusted. They took the process and they trusted what I brought to them, right?
It's all your hot buttons, right? You're helping somebody else be successful. You're delivering something that helps them find a better way through it. And then the result is what they come is trust that what you help them with works and makes a difference.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can hear that shining through in the way that you talk about that.
Yes, so well. Resonates. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it's so fun to watch people living their why and expressing their why. It just brings so much. I love the authenticity it brings to the conversation. And I'm quite certain that's probably how you interact with your clients. I'm sure that your clients feel that very authentic version of you that lets them do the work that they need to do to get what they want as well. So
I think that a couple of things that come to mind when you say that is, even the description in the why talks about what your being is like, how people come to you, you're easy to connect with, you're easy to talk to. And I've always recognized that. So I think that, is something that, that also really resonated when you think about why I am this way, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you feel like you have a permission now to have kind of this operating card that you could go around and tell people, like, here's how I operate. If you want to know how to operate me, just know this.
I think that's absolutely a great way to do it because, a lot of times you get asked as coaches, particularly when people are trying to choose what makes you different.
Yeah.
What makes you different. And to be able to say that, I'm looking for leaders who are looking for better ways to do something, and they can trust that they trust those who can do that. And that's what I bring to it. And I think leaders also resonate with that because that's what they do.
Correct. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so perfect. What do you think is one of the biggest challenges your clients are facing today, and how are you helping them tackle it?
That business is the dynamics in today's business world. So there's so much uncertainty. There's so much of having to do way more with less. And, for as many years as I was working in the corporate world, that's always been the story. There's always way more to do than there are resources. But I think today it's a lot more than that. There is a lot of that happens. Um, and so,
That's okay. No, so you're talking about the challenge they're facing, right?
the
So
challenge they're facing. You're right. You're right. So business dynamics in general, right? And so businesses, well, can't have any money, can't do those resources, got to get it all done. No, you can't help me prioritize. And then, so you have all of those challenges, and I don't have any money to help you to show you how to do this. Just go figure it out on your own. Or, well, you need to do all these other things in order to be promoted. Well, how do I do that? Well, you just go figure it out. So I think people feel they're on an island. They don't have today what they had before. Maybe you could go to a trade show, or you could go externally to be trained, or companies had internal leadership development programs. Those aren't there anymore. So people are really forced to, if I want to be trained, if I want to grow myself, I got to go find it myself. So I think giving the opportunity to be able to say, I can come work with you, I can support you, but I know you have limited time. I know you have limited resources. So it may not be the way coaching was, delivered when it first became popular.
right.
We've learned a lot, and there's been a lot of platforms these days that make it much more ubiquitous. So there's lots of ways to deliver it. So I think that having that trusted advisor, having that opportunity to say, even if just give me a coach for 3 months, 6 months, give me some tools so that now I know how I can help myself, or I know how to ask for help within, other people that I work with as well.
Right. I love that. And you started even diving into the next question I was going to ask is, how do you see coaching evolving over the next 5 to 10 years? And how are you working to stay ahead of that curve? So you kind of started to explain that or talk about that in terms of the service that you provide with people, with this audience, making it available, like changing how you're delivering coaching. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of things have happened. When I became a coach, it was before coaching was cool. Really hard to describe what do you do and how,
Right.
and it was reserved at that point for highest level,
Yep.
C-suite. So it was high touch, expensive to the company, lucrative to the coach.
Yep.
Well, over the years, lots of people have become coaches. I have met a lot of people who retire from their business to move into coaching. So the coaching schools are doing amazing that they're bringing in all these coaches, but the amount of coaches there are in the world compared to the amount of people there are to be coached because of the finances, the business models, those sorts of things. So it's really creating a market that's really, I think, a lot, everybody's a coach. And a lot of companies have come out with coaching platforms. So they've democratized coaching. So it could be, to everyone. And because of that, a lot of coaches are taking advantage of being on the other end and serving those platforms because they get to coach people,
Right.
but it's not as lucrative, from their standpoint. So you have people with PhDs, delivering presentation coaching, and it seems to be much more tactical to me in terms of what do you want to work on today. And I think the leaders are looking at it by saying, okay, check the box, at least I'm offering development.
Right.
So that was part of the reason why I actually created the program, my hybrid learning program, to be able to say, this is where the future is. They want coaching. They like the in-person. They like the group, but everything is much more online. Do it on my own space. Do as much as I want. Manage my own learning.
Yeah.
So I've created something that benefits them in that way. I think the third piece is that I also start to see now a blending of coaching skills with the needs of sort of the world, if you will, around burnout, anxiety, mental health, and wellness. I see this so much in corporate environments as well, and the statistics around anxiety issues and burnout and all of that. I think coaches are absolutely the right people to be able to deliver, training in that area, getting leaders to understand, helping them talk about overwhelm and overwork and things like that. So I'm purposely also moving in that direction, offering programs that help in that, webinars, training programs, whatever delivery method it is. And so it's coaching, but it's a way how leaders can work to solve specific things. What do I need to do to help with this piece in that, right? Instead of develop my leadership skills in general.
Right. That becomes so broad. So I love the fact that you're looking at them in terms of both not what do I need, but what do I need career-wise? What do I need person-wise as well? Right. So it's not just being a leader. It's how do I deal with all the things that are going on in the work world as well for me as a person is what I hear you saying.
Right.
Yeah.
And you also have, different generations of workforce. And so
true.
Gen Zs who just showed up and talked about this all the time. And then you had older generations who said, we don't bring that into the office.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you deal with this multicultural, multi-generational workforce that so there's a lot of training and subject that falls in the coaching realm that needs to be done in that area. And what I will add to that, which I thought was very interesting when I was thinking about this, is my whole why really led me to move in that direction as well.
Of course it did. Of course it did.
Of course it did. Oh my goodness, there's a worldwide anxiety epidemic. There's got to be something I can do to solve this.
There's a better way.
There's got to be a better way. I don't want to solve it, but I want to come in and do something. I can help in some way.
Yeah.
And then I went through a lot of years of, but what is it and how do I take this coaching and what do I do? And have since come up with an opportunity and a way to do that, which is by offering, mental health first aid and different types of trainings in the environment. Why me? Because I can also talk about my own experiences, not only with coaching, but what I've gone through and how my experiences have caused both before I was a coach and after that created what I see, the conversations I have every day. Trust me, I know this, and here's a solution for you.
Because you came through the Silicon Valley boom. So that is a whole learning experience right there. So they can trust that you have not only tools and the skills, but the experience behind it to really empathize with them. So I love that so much.
When I was in the corporate world and having to go through it myself, and then I said, I wish I had someone like me when I was becoming an executive. Right. And now, in today's world, which is even 10 times, as crazy as it was years ago.
I hear you. Love that. Okay. We're going to shake things up just a little bit. We're going to play what we call our lightning round, quick answers for quick questions. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
It's the zombie apocalypse and you can grab one item or weapon. What are you going to grab?
An axe.
Good one. I haven't heard that one yet. It's usually either can I take my dog or somebody recently said, no, my dog is no good. I need my running shoes. So, that's a good one.
I think, that's because we've had lots of conversations around the table with the creative and imaginative family that I live in is that if the zombies come, what are we going to do about it?
Your job is to grab the axe.
And so the axe would be to defend yourself, right?
There you go.
So it's not about taking anything with you, but it's taking what you need to defend yourself.
Exactly. I love it. Favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
Between trigger and response, there's a space. And in that space lies our power to choose.
Oh, I love that one so much.
And I think about respond or react or respond.
Right.
Right.
Oh, I love that so much. I love that a lot. Favorite movie or streaming series that you love?
Oh my goodness. Oh, so many of them. Let's see. I do a lot of Law and Order, a lot of the FBI.
Mm.
So I do a lot of good crime shows, and I like a lot of those.
Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. One book that has influenced your life the most?
Mm. Mastery.
Mm.
Mastery, the idea about everything takes practice. And I really experienced this from when I went from being a VP of marketing to being a coach. And all of a sudden I was not a master at it anymore,
Yeah,
but I had to learn to go through. So that's been a big influence on me.
yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Can you share with us a big obstacle you've had to overcome and a lesson that you've taken from it?
Also came from reading my why, because of it, my contribute and my how. Take on a lot, work all the time,
Mm,
never
mhm.
been able to manage my capacity, trying to do it all. And I've spent a lot of years figuring out how to put boundaries, how to say no, how to manage my own commitments and my own priorities. It was always, I'm not enough,
Oh, yeah.
imposter syndrome. I'll take on more, I'll do more to prove that trustworthiness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Typical contribute, right? Is saying no is like impossible. It's not even in the DNA, right?
No. And so that is definitely a challenge because it was a struggle. And then you get to a certain point where you start to recognize, and now I work a lot with my clients on that because I've been through it.
Yeah,
I know what it's like why you need to manage your capacity, why you need to set boundaries. It's okay. People are still going to support you if you say no. They're asking you because they know you're reliable to begin with, right? So,
right. Of course. Of course. I love that you have that and the ability to share that with others. It's kind of a nice gift. And you know it and you know it. Like it's not that you just know it in your head, you know it because you have lived it as well.
exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, Loretta, if any of our listeners would like to get in touch with you, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Always email Loretta at lorettastagnitto.com or info@lorettastagnitto.com, or they can come through our website, lorettastagnitto.com. So
Perfect.
lots of,
Easy. Yeah, easy, easy. Loretta, thank you for your time and insights today. I am quite certain that we have listeners that will find extreme value in our conversation, and it's been a pleasure to meet you.
I feel the same way. Thank you for having me and for allowing me this conversation to make the connections and to help me understand my why and how I live in my why every day, which is just so insightful.
It's a
So
ton of fun. We have a great time here.
exactly. Exactly.
Awesome. Thanks for being with us, Loretta, today. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it as well.